Don't you just hate Monday morning meetings or Friday afternoon meetings or recurring meetings? Let's talk about it. There are a few things that can help with these meeting blues. The first thing you want to make sure is that you go ahead and put the meeting on the calendar. As soon as you decide that you're going to have a meeting with your team, make sure you put it on the calendar, your calendar, so it's done. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and communicate that date and time to the team, so that way they have it on their calendar and you know that they have it, you have it, the two parties that need to be there are there. And any other guests that you may have at the meeting, make sure they're aware of what time and what day the meeting will be on. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have an agenda, step by step, with time slots in there. Who's going to say what, when, introductions, or whatever's going to happen in the meeting. Make sure you have the time slots in there. And the last thing that I can help you with is brevity wins points. Okay, so as brief as you can be, just straight to the point. It'll win points with your team, because especially if it's a recurring meeting every month or every week, make sure things are in order so that you're not wasting their time and just time is being spent wisely. And those are a few things that can help you with these meeting blues. Now, another question that comes to mind is, what is the best day to have the team meetings? We know that if a person on the team wants to have a 3-day weekend, that they will be taking either Monday or Friday off. So those days, we don't necessarily automatically eliminate them, but we want to look at those. Also, there's schedules that we have to consider. We have to consider the team schedules if we have people that work 4-day work weeks. If they could have any of the days off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Whatever day that they have off, we want to avoid those days if we want the whole team to be there. Now, we cannot avoid absences if it's an emergency and the person just doesn't show up on that particular day. But we will schedule the team meeting according to what we have going on that week. We also have to consider our schedule as leaders, because we have other meetings going on that week, as well as assignments. We may have one-on-one meetings going on, meetings with our boss. Any of that could be going on that week. So we have to make sure we consider all of that before we actually put this on the calendar. So that leaves us with maybe Thursday through Friday to look at scheduling a team meeting. Okay, so if we look at those days, we'll need to look at morning or afternoon. You know your team, you know if the energy level is highest in the morning or if the energy level is best in the afternoon. I tend to err toward the morning, not early morning. I want everyone to be there at work, online, working. And then I like to have the meeting before lunch, because after lunch, people tend to get a little sleepy. And if it's going to be a longer meeting, I don't want folks, being bored or falling asleep during the meeting. So just looking out for them, I tend to have it maybe right before lunch. If they have to alter their schedule a little bit, they're more than willing to do that, to have the meeting. But that's one thing that you have to decide, if your team likes the afternoon meetings or if they like morning meetings. And this is something that you can actually consult your team on and maybe vote on it, and whatever they decide and you just go along with whatever they decide when it comes to morning or afternoon meetings, as well as the days. If one day works better, if everybody's there on a Tuesday, that may be the day that you designate to have our team meetings on that day. Now, there are different types of meetings that you have with your team. One meeting is I call the huddles, and huddles are usually, it could be a huddle could be a short directional meeting for the day or for the week, and it could happen either every day or it can happen once or twice or 3 times a week. But they are short meetings, 15 minutes or below, and you give them direction as far as the goals for the day or the week, the challenges or changes for the day or the week, and then the impact that you expect for them to have for the day or for the week. But just like a football team will huddle for the next play, that's what huddles are really used for. It's a very, very short meeting. The team is in and out of the huddle very quickly, but they have a clear understanding of what the next play is. So huddles are one meeting that's a great meeting to have, and you can have them, like I said, on a daily basis or a couple of times a week. Just depends on how much direction your team needs and what changes are they preparing for the week. The next type of meeting that we will discuss is the actual team meeting. This is a meeting that occurs once a month normally, and during this meeting it's usually anywhere from an hour or less long. I try to keep mine between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, but during that time, and I will compare this meeting to like the halftime, people will get, the team will get information. They'll get monthly stats on how the team is doing. I may have someone come in and do some presentations. There may be some education shared during this meeting, but they will get all that they need to carry them over to the next month. How the team in general, how the team has been doing, if there's some changes that we need to make or change up. This is their time to talk and air out any discussions that they want to bring up at that time. But this is our team meeting. It's a gathering for people in the team, and anyone could have. I leave a time within the time frame that I have with them for them to have comments or talk about things that they're interested in and they want to talk about or bring up to the team. So this is the team meeting. Now, before we get to the last type of meeting we're going to discuss today, if this information has been helpful to you, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button or the like button and to continue to follow this channel. Now, the last meeting we'll discuss will be the one-on-one, and this is where the team manager and the individual employee will have time together one-on-one to discuss their assessments for the month. They will discuss any type of, it's kind of like the player coach time together, any coaching that needs to be done, any praises, any questions that the individual may have about the team or about the work function, bring up their personal stats, how they've been doing during the month. There should never be a surprise about their productivity or their quality or anything like that. This is the time that you'll discuss with the actual employee in their one-on-one meetings. And during this time, the manager should not talk the majority of the time. If anything, it should be a 50-50 conversation. If not, you can ask them about, once all the stats are laid out and they understand where they are as far as their progress is, then you can start asking them about personal questions such as how the family's doing. Nothing too personal, but ask them about things that you want to know about. How's the family doing? If there's anything that they'd like to share with you, and this is their time to open up if there's something that they want to discuss with you. But this is your one-on-one time with your individual employee. Each employee should get this. It could run anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on if there are any concerns or anything that you need to bring up with them. But you would share with them the good and the bad, right? You just don't get them in a room and tell them everything that they're doing wrong. Actually, look for the things that they are doing right, that they're doing well, and share that with them also. But this is the last meeting that we'll discuss, and it is the one-on-one meeting. Now, as a leader, what can you do to make these meetings more bearable and even somewhat enjoyable is I would suggest 3 things. Make sure that you are timely. If you call the meeting at 2 o'clock, make sure you're there at 2 o'clock. Do not keep individuals waiting because you call the meeting, you set the time, so make sure you're dedicated to that time and to be there. And it's a great pattern just to lead for your folks to follow. And number 2, you want to be prepared for the meeting. There's nothing like preparation. That way you won't forget the things that you want to discuss with the individual employee and talk to them about, or the team in general. Make sure you have things written down on a piece of paper or your notepad so everything is covered. And make sure, number 3, you give them relevant information. Old news is old news, and if it's something that you can't tell them right there, don't even bring it up. But if it's something that's relevant that they need to know to help them with their job, to help them at the company, that's what they want to hear from you. And by giving these 3 bits of information as you as a leader that's responsible for this, it will help the meeting flow much, much better. Well, there you have it. Now you can get rid of those team meeting blues and have smooth selling from here on out.